Let's be real, the question of penis size comes up a lot. It's one of those topics that seems to pop up everywhere, whether we're joking around with friends, watching a movie, or scrolling through social media. For many guys, it's a source of curiosity, anxiety, or even embarrassment. But have you ever stopped to wonder why this question is so common and why it seems to matter so much? It's everywhere. Movies, jokes, locker rooms, size is a big deal in our culture. From the time we're teenagers, we're bombarded with messages that bigger is better, and that size somehow equals confidence, masculinity, or even happiness. These ideas get reinforced in the media we consume, the conversations we overhear, and the stories we tell each other. It can feel like everyone is thinking about it, even if nobody says it out loud. But why? Part of it is societal pressure. We live in a world where physical appearance is often linked to self-worth, and where unrealistic standards are set by everything from advertising to entertainment. When it comes to penis size, these pressures can be especially intense, because it's a topic that's rarely discussed openly and honestly. We see images of big penises everywhere, making guys think that's the standard. Whether it's in movies, adult content, or even just the way people talk, there's this constant suggestion that bigger is always better. Social media only amplifies this, with people comparing themselves to others and feeling like they don't measure up. But those images aren't always real. A lot of what we see is exaggerated, edited, or just plain fake. Photo shoots use clever angles, lighting, and even digital manipulation to create an illusion. The reality is, most people don't look like the images we see in the media, and that's true for penises too. Comparing yourself to these unrealistic standards is like comparing yourself to a cartoon character. It's just not real life. And even if they are, they don't tell the whole story about good sex. Great sex isn't about size. It's about connection, communication, and trust. What really matters is how you and your partner feel together, how you listen to each other, and how you make each other feel safe and cared for. The best moments in the bedroom come from laughter, vulnerability, and genuine intimacy, not from meeting some made-up standard. Worrying about size is totally normal. Almost everyone has insecurities about their body at some point, and it's okay to feel uncertain or anxious. But it's important to remember that you're not alone in these feelings. Talking to friends, partners, or even a counselor can help you put things in perspective and realize that your worth isn't defined by any one part of your body. But the truth is, it matters way less than you think. Most people care far more about kindness, respect, and emotional connection than they do about size. When you focus on being a good partner, listening, caring, and being present, you create a much deeper bond than anything physical could ever provide. What really counts is how you treat your partner and make them feel. The most memorable experiences come from feeling loved, accepted, and understood. That's what people remember, not the size of your body parts. Remember, sex is about connection. It's about pleasure, intimacy, and sharing something special with someone you care about. When you let go of the pressure to measure up and focus on building real, meaningful relationships, you'll find that the worries about size start to fade away. What matters most is being present, being kind, and enjoying the moment together. Let's get scientific for a moment. When we talk about sex, it's easy to focus on the physical aspects, what we can see, touch, and measure. But the truth is, pleasure is a much more complex experience, shaped by our minds, our emotions, and even our biology. Science has shown us that sexual satisfaction is about so much more than just anatomy or size. When it comes to sex, pleasure isn't just about size. It's about connection, comfort, and the unique chemistry between two people. The way you communicate, the trust you build, and the emotional safety you feel with your partner all play a huge role in how enjoyable sex can be. In fact, studies show that emotional intimacy often leads to more satisfying sexual experiences. It's about your brain and hormones, too. Our brains are powerful when it comes to pleasure. Anticipation, excitement, and even simple acts of affection can trigger a cascade of feel-good chemicals. Sometimes, just thinking about your partner or sharing a meaningful conversation can set the stage for intimacy, long before anything physical happens. When we're turned on, our brains release chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical because it creates feelings of reward and motivation. Oxytocin, sometimes known as the cuddle hormone, helps us bond and feel close to our partners. These chemicals work together to make sexual experiences not just pleasurable, but also deeply meaningful. These chemicals make us feel good, relaxed, and connected to our partner. They help us let go of stress and feel safe, which is essential for enjoying intimacy. It's not just about the act itself. It's about the emotional and psychological environment you create together. That's what makes sex so enjoyable. It's a combination of physical sensations, emotional closeness, and the brain's natural chemistry. When all these elements come together, sex becomes a source of joy, comfort, and connection. The vagina itself is designed for pleasure, with lots of nerve endings concentrated around the opening and the first few inches. The clitoris in particular is packed with thousands of nerve endings, more than almost any other part of the body. This means that external stimulation can be just as, if not more, pleasurable than penetration for many people. This means that even though penetration can feel good, it's not the only way to experience pleasure. Touch, kissing, massage, and other forms of intimacy can be incredibly satisfying. Exploring what feels good for you and your partner can open up a whole new world of pleasure and connection. In fact, many people with vaginas don't orgasm from penetration alone. For most, clitoral stimulation is key to reaching orgasm. So remember, great sex is about understanding your body, communicating with your partner, and embracing all the ways you can experience pleasure, beyond just the physical. Think about the best sexual experience you've ever had. Was it all about size? Probably not. Chances are it was about feeling desired, connected, and respected by your partner. It was about the build-up, the intimacy, and the emotional connection you shared. Those feelings, desire, intimacy, and connection, those are the magic ingredients for amazing sex. And they have nothing to do with size. Remember, sex is a physical and emotional experience. When you focus on making your partner feel good, both physically and emotionally, size becomes a lot less important. Let's bust some myths about penis size, shall we? There's a lot of misinformation out there, and it's easy to get caught up in rumors, jokes, and unrealistic expectations. But today, we're going to set the record straight and talk honestly about what really matters when it comes to penis size and what doesn't. So let's dive in and separate the facts from the fiction, once and for all. Myth: bigger is always better. This idea is everywhere, in movies, in locker room talk, and even in advertising. But is it actually true? Many people feel pressured to measure up to some imaginary standard, thinking that size is the most important thing when it comes to sex and relationships. Fact: not true. Pleasure is about stimulation, not just size. Sexual satisfaction depends on so many factors: emotional connection, communication, trust, and understanding your partner's needs. For most people, intimacy and pleasure are about how you connect, not about measurements. In fact, many couples find that what really matters is how you make each other feel, both physically and emotionally. Many people with vaginas find that too much size can be uncomfortable. The vagina is a flexible organ, but it has its limits, and bigger isn't always better for comfort or pleasure. In fact, for some, a larger penis can actually make sex less enjoyable or even painful. What's most important is open communication with your partner about what feels good and what doesn't. Myth: you can tell penis size by looking at someone's hands or feet. This is one of the oldest and most persistent myths out there. People love to joke about it, but there's no real connection between the size of someone's hands, feet, nose, or any other body part and their penis size. Fact: nope, that's just an old wives' tale. It's a funny idea, but it's simply not true. Science has looked into this, and there's no evidence to support the claim. So next time you hear someone make that joke, you'll know it's just a myth with no basis in reality. There's no scientific evidence to support this. Studies have shown that there's no reliable way to predict penis size based on any other body measurement. Human bodies are unique, and there's a huge range of what's normal and healthy. Myth: all men are insecure about their penis size. This stereotype is everywhere, but it's not true for everyone. Sure, some men might worry about how they compare, especially with all the pressure from media and society, but that doesn't mean every man is secretly anxious about it. Fact: while some men might worry about size, many are perfectly confident and happy with their bodies. Confidence comes from self-acceptance, not from meeting some made-up standard. Lots of men feel good about themselves, regardless of size, and focus on what really matters: being a caring, attentive partner. Remember, everyone is different, and there's no one right size. Bodies come in all shapes and sizes, and that's what makes us unique. What's most important is feeling comfortable in your own skin and respecting others for who they are. What matters is how you use what you've got. Focus on connection, communication, and having fun together. At the end of the day, Great sex and healthy relationships are about so much more than size. They're about trust, respect, and enjoying each other's company. The vagina is, honestly, an amazing and complex organ with lots of erogenous zones. Focusing on these areas can lead to incredible pleasure, regardless of penis size. One such area is the G-spot, which is located on the front wall of the vagina, just a few inches in. Stimulating this area can be intensely pleasurable for some people. The clitoris, with its 8,000 nerve endings, is another key player in female pleasure. Seriously, don't underestimate the power of clitoral stimulation. It's totally worth experimenting with different positions, toys, and techniques to find what feels good for you and your partner. Talking about sex can feel awkward, but it's so important. Open communication with your partner can make a world of difference. Share your desires, your fears, and what feels good. Don't be afraid to tell your partner what you like and don't like. Remember, your partner can't read your mind. By communicating openly and honestly, you can build trust, intimacy, and really explore pleasure together. Confidence is the sexiest thing you can wear. When you feel good about yourself, it shows, and honestly, that's incredibly attractive. Everyone has insecurities, but don't let them hold you back. Embrace your body and own your sexuality. Focus on what you love about yourself, both inside and out. Remember, there's nothing more attractive than someone who is comfortable and confident in their own skin. Here are a few tips for incredible sex, no matter your size. First, focus on foreplay. Spend time building anticipation and arousal before penetration. Next, explore different positions. Experiment to find angles and positions that maximize pleasure for both partners. Don't forget to use toys. Vibrators, dildos, and other toys can add extra stimulation and excitement. Communicate throughout. Let your partner know what feels good and encourage them to do the same. And have fun! Sex should be enjoyable, so relax, let go, and enjoy the experience together. Remember, good sex is really about connection, communication, and a willingness to explore and experiment together. At the end of the day, size really doesn't matter as much as we think. What truly matters is the connection you share with your partner. Focus on intimacy, communication, and exploring each other's bodies with love and respect. That's the recipe for amazing sex, no matter what. So let go of the size worries and embrace the joy of connection. You got this.